Hi, my name's Eric, welcome back to my channel. Let's talk about Dua Lipa. Today she's releasing her second album, Future Nostalgia, and I am here to give it my first reaction and to break down the album's lyrics. Future Nostalgia has probably been one of the most hyped albums in recent memory, and the promo for this album has been hugely successful. Dua's aesthetic, sonically and visually, has contributed to what I think is a resurgence of pure 80s influenced pop on the charts, which has also included songs like Circles by Post Malone and Blinding Lights by The Weeknd. Before I dive into the reaction, let me know in the comments down below what your favorite Dua Lipa song is. Please subscribe to be here when I post new videos every week, and hit the bell icon to be notified when my videos go live. Without further ado, the album has just come out officially. Track number 1 is the title track, Future Nostalgia. So this is sort of like an artist statement to start out with. This is really hooky and really catchy. So this is like a takedown of her haters. I like her confidence. Ooh, she's wearing the pants. I see. That was so much fun. You know, after listening to albums like Janet Jackson's Control from the 80s, this really feels like a modern, definitely more polished take on that style of production with sort of like a retro-futurist sort of spin. I think the future aspect that she's talking about here is like her status as a woman. The nostalgia is the production style and the society that, you know, it existed within, but the future is the female alpha. She is asserting herself as a woman, and she's saying, that's how I'm looking towards the future, with confidence. She's doing the classic pop star thing of weaving together her personal and professional life, so she talks about her power, you know, as a woman in her career, but also as a woman in her relationships. And she's saying that people underestimate her in all of these aspects of her life, and that she's going to subvert their expectations. So on the first line she says, you want a classic song, I want to change the game. And then later she says, I know you ain't used to a female alpha like I mentioned, and I can't teach a man how to wear his pants. She's saying both the men in her professional life in the music industry and the men that she's dated aren't used to a woman being confident and being in charge. And she's saying, that's the past. Let's move into the future where someone like me, a woman, can be in charge. Track number 2 is Don't Start Now, and of course I've heard this song. It has been completely inescapable, but I am looking forward to breaking down the lyrics for the first time. I heard a little bit of like a vinyl crackle in there. That was fun. I love how much fun she's having too. That's really great to see. You've got that reverse drop where a lot of the sound gets sucked out. That's awesome. This is a really nice and balanced take on a confidence-boosting song because it has that, you know, history of heartbreak underneath it. That makes it more dramatic. Oh, I didn't notice there's like some little crowd noises in there, like cheers. This breakdown sort of reminds me of Gone by Charlie XCX and Christine and the Queens. Also very 80s. The song is also such an upper, and there's been a lot of downers on the charts, I think. This is really refreshing. So we are zooming in and carrying over that same sense of confidence and sarcasm that we had on the opener to this specific situation of, you know, a post-breakup. Lyrically, the idea of the chorus is pretty simple. You broke up with me, and now you see me out having a good time with someone else, and now you're jealous. So if you don't want to see that, don't look. In terms of emotional nuance, she says on the first verse, did the heartbreak change me? Maybe, but look at where I ended up. I don't think this is necessarily a case of her like protesting too much and then, you know, eventually letting the cracks show and the heartbreak through. But just like the attitude on the first track could be applied narrowly to her personal life, the attitude here could be applied broadly to her professional and social life. Her struggles motivate her. So maybe the same way that this breakup and the heartbreak have encouraged her to go out and have a good time, maybe adversity encourages her to persevere as a public figure and as a musician and as a woman. Track number 3 is Cool. We've got more of those vinyl crackles. Okay. This is so surprising. It's very Genesis, just like some of the songs on After Hours. She's having fun with the vocals here too. She's really liking these reverse drops. That little cheer there was very Carly Rae Jepsen in the best way. Her vocals sound like she's having fun, they're confident, they're light. Lyrically, it has just taken 2 tracks for her to let her guard down a little bit and to be more vulnerable. Like on the opener, there are a lot of mixed metaphors about this new love. She talks about losing her cool and burning up and grills and pills and just all of these different images about how passionate she is for this new love affair. You know, it's hot. It's like being high on drugs, all of those pop music things. She brings in the overall theme when she says, "You like the way I move, in control of what I do, and my love makes you brand new." Her self-sufficiency is new to this partner, and it is renewing. It is bringing them into the future. I know this felt very, straightforwardly romantic, but a possible caveat in the narrative of this relationship could be that she describes it as love, but the way that she, depicts the love is only through physical ideas. Like she talks about their lips touching, she talks about being up all night. So it's this, hot and steamy physical relationship, but that doesn't necessarily translate to emotional satisfaction. And that does often happen on pop albums where it starts out like this, like super romantic but purely physical, and then eventually the singer realizes that there was something missing underneath. I'm not saying that's necessarily what's going to happen here, but it does fit with the title of track number 4, Physical. This is a song I've heard a couple times, but again, without paying super close attention to the lyrics. That sounded like an ABBA sample. We created something phenomenal, don't you agree? You got me feeling diamond rich. Nothing on this planet compares to it. Who needs to go to sleep when I got you next to me? Love the little echo. This is very much an Olivia Newton-John tribute too. Okay. Sounds like a conspiracy theory. I love that she didn't pull back on the bridge. That's awesome. Oh, this is perfect. This is awesome. Oh my gosh. You know what I said about this being euphoric? Yeah. That's what this album is. So whereas Cool was really about the relationship as a whole, but she just mentioned that she and her new boo would stay up all night, this is zooming into that particular scenario. The song adapts the ideas from Olivia Newton-John's song Physical with sort of the parallel between these like dancer size instructions and basically romantic come-ons. We also finally have another pretty clear idea relating to retrofuturism when she says on the second verse, "Love the simulation we're dreaming in." Of course, this relates to the conspiracy theory that we are all living in a simulation, but specifically also, again, this is just the pessimist to love in me talking, but a simulation is fake. It's like a dream, which she also brings up. So like we have this tonal aesthetic reminder that we are going for some futuristic ideas here, but also again, it might signal us to the idea that this relationship isn't totally substantial, but it's just physical. Track number 5 is Levitating. If you wanna run away with me, I know a galaxy and I can take you for a ride. Glitter in the sky, glitter in my eyes, shining just the way you like. Sugar boo, I'm levitating, the Milky Way, we're renegading. I need you all night, come I feel like all of this takes place like in a crowd where everyone is celebrating. Again, blinding lights. Ooh, Let's Get Lost. I don't think that's a reference, but it brings up Carly Rae Jepsen again. I'll talk about that. I love that all of the songs have bridges and all of the bridges are good. That was really cute. And also sort of more funk leaning, which is fun. This is the song I think that, in terms of the images in the lyrics, matches the cover art and my wall most closely. It's also probably the most straightforwardly romantic, like I keep mentioning, in a Carly Rae Jepsen sort of way. It shares lyrics and themes with Carly Rae Jepsen's song Let's Get Lost, as well as a song like Lucky Ones by Lana Del Rey, the sort of idea of love as an escape. She talks about this dazzling love light that the pessimist in me, again, wants to believe is like the blinding lights on the Weeknd song, clouding her judgment, not giving her a clear view of the situation at hand. But again, you know, the shine of the moon or stars is usually just a romantic image. Basically, this love is making her feel weightless and limitless. She says that she is levitating and that she is renegading. The second lyric in particular feels very much like rebellion, which is very much an 80s music and 80s sort of teen movie love ideal. The world is against us, but we are going to resist that with our love. Track number 6 is Pretty Please. Okay, we've hit a bump in the road. Okay. This is slinky. Oh, nice. Like I always say, yearning is the most powerful emotion in pop music. Ooh, I like how the music is filling out on this second chorus. This really does feel like a mediation of the past and present. That's awesome. I love that little slowdown. So we had to hit a snag at some point, and it did happen the way that I said it would. She says, put your hand out and you're turning me on. I want to feel a different kind of tension, the kind that's fun. Their sexual tension has turned into emotional tension and conflict, and she doesn't like that. So when she says you're turning me on, it might not be in a romantic way. It might be anger, like you are igniting my anger the same way that you ignite my fire of passion. And as is her MO, the solution she presents is physical. Pretty please, I need your hands on me. Track number 7 is Hallucinate. This is possibly another image of like fakeness or dreaming like the simulation, but we shall see. Ooh, okay. This sounds a little darker. And definitely more house influenced. Nice. Oh, I've got stars in my eyes. Like the blinding lights again from earlier. The dark, again, concealment. It's getting a little bit more and more poisonous on each song. So she opens the song basically in the same place that she was before. She says, no, I ain't got no money, but I'm letting you know that I'ma love you like a fool, breathe you in till I hallucinate. She saw the money interfering with her relationship, so she is ditching it again for the physical love. Then there's the image of Dua using her partner like a drug, breathing them in until she's high. Of course, a high as a metaphor is good, but, as always, it is qualified by its illusory nature. That's because a drug-induced hallucination isn't real, like a simulation or like a dream. And then she says, I couldn't live without your touch. This line works in two ways. First, it establishes basically the stakes of this breakup. Like, she will be absolutely shattered if this ends. And second, it confirms once again that to her, this love is defined by the physical aspect, not by something, spiritual, emotional, metaphysical, possibly more meaningful. She says again, like I mentioned, that she has stars in her eyes, bringing us back to the images that we had on Levitating, and again hinting to us that we're going to have some issues with her perception of this relationship. And just in case it wasn't clear, she does drop some more lines with that pernicious sort of undertone, like, "Kill me slowly with your kiss." Track number 8 is Love Again. Ooh, we have strings. Oh no, that sounds sad, but maybe we'll get a beat. Ooh, this is very disco. Okay, there's a familiar sample. There we go. Okay, the dance as the love again. Again, touch me. It's upbeat, but it does feel like we're reaching an emotional low point. Love those strings, very ABBA. Ooh. Very cinematic, very nice. I'm just gonna say, we're only in March. The Grammys are going to be a tough race next year. Also, for the record, she has avoided the Best New Artist curse and the sophomore slump simultaneously with the release of this album. Overall, the song is pretty similar lyrically to the other tracks. Once again, Dua connects music to love in the same way that she did on Physical when she says, "I never knew I had it in me to dance anymore." And she brings back that celestial imagery that we had on Levitating and Hallucinate when she says, "Show me where heaven's right here, baby. Touch me." And that again also brings back the idea of physical contact, of course. Like I mentioned on the last track, she is consistently raising the stakes of this relationship. And here it's specifically because she's saying, before I entered this relationship, I didn't think I could love again. I was so broken. And now you have, lifted me from the rubble of that past relationship, that past heartbreak. And now this relationship is on a sort of pedestal, is, especially precious because she didn't think it would be possible to feel this way again. She professes her love again and again on this track, so if we are headed for a breakup, that depth of this passion will probably make it even more impactful, especially considering that the next track, track number 9, is called Break My Heart. I've always been the one to say the first goodbye. Okay. She like typing the upper hand, being the alpha. We've got this club beat rising in there. She's relinquishing power. That's a risk. Okay. We've got some How Long by Charlie Puth vibes going on. Okay, I see. It's not the actual breakup happening, it's the fear creeping in. So the situation here is it's the moment before really diving in fully and committing to a relationship that doubt creeps in. Because she knows she's in so deep that this really can hurt her, like she's been building up to on the last few songs. Part of her strong character that she set up earlier on the album is that she has always been the one to say the first goodbye. So she's had the upper hand in past relationships by basically being the heartbreaker. However, this also could mean that she has been betting against herself. Like she has ended relationships, cut them short because she has been afraid of getting her heart broken. But here is different because maybe she can't afford to do that. Maybe she feels especially in it now, and that's scary. She acknowledges, "I'm indecisive, but this time I know for sure. I hope I'm not the only one that feels it all. Are you falling? So, of course, the doubt isn't just about her feelings, but about whether they're reciprocated. In the past, she's had trouble committing emotionally, and I believe also this can tie back to the sort of gender dynamic. She is used to being the female alpha. She has to compensate for this sort of past of men trying to basically dominate her, maybe manipulate her emotionally. So, with her resisting all along, she is reluctant to let that power go. Track number 10 is Good in Bed. This has a very Lily Allen sort of bite to it. This is so different, but so fun. This is so playful. That was a very hard left turn tonally, but what's interesting is that possibly the most sort of cheeky, upbeat song on this album has been the one where she's making the most important realization in this relationship that probably will end it. Because finally she's realized what I've been saying all along. The relationship was just physical. There wasn't really emotional stability. She says, maybe this relationship would work if you only knew me the way you know my body. It's all external, it's all physical, it has been the whole time. She's saying we're good in bed and we don't work emotionally. We don't communicate, we make each other angry, and we resolve it by hopping into bed. Like I've been saying, the solutions she's been proposing all along whenever they hit a snag in the relationship is physical, and now that's left her feeling empty. The final track, track number 11, is Boys Will Be Boys. It's second nature to walk home before the sun goes down and put your keys between your knuckles when there's boys around. When will we stop saying things cause they're all listening? No, the kids ain't alright. She's broadening the scope. Okay, so the production has very much moved into the present, and she's moving into the future with us. Okay, and that is how the album ends. So on this final track, she is releasing us back into the world, looking at this broad scope again of the world that she lives in. And just like on earlier tracks, and particularly on the opener, she funneled her pain and her struggles into her work and into her relationship. Here she says, boys will be boys, but girls will be women. We will take this, bad philosophy that has caused a lot of harm and channel it into growth. So just like on the opener and title track, she said, you ain't used to a female alpha. Here again, she is asserting herself as a woman. She opens the song by saying, it's second nature to walk home before the sun goes down and put your keys between your knuckles when there's boys around. These are sort of universal protective measures that women take to avoid violence by men. She says that we are taught these norms by TV, again invoking just the sort of, social structure that imposes these ideas on people. And of course, just like on the opener, she connected her personal and professional life. Here she is doing a similar thing. Because almost the whole time she's been talking about this one relationship. So I think what she's suggesting is the problems with her relationship, with the communication and the power struggles, came from these social influences that taught this partner basically a dysfunctional view of relationships. So I really like that this album is bookended by two songs that, are very, sort of global in scale and make broad statements, but also are, pretty clearly tied to the material of the rest of the album. And no one really gets off scot-free. Dua interrogates her own struggles with her relationships and her struggles with power, while also investigating why it is that men in relationships seem not to communicate well and seem to have trouble, working things out emotionally. And so that's the time issue from the title, the future, moving forward with a more egalitarian and emotionally healthy view of relationships. So overall, I was really impressed with this album. I think the production approach, similarly to After Hours by The Weeknd, was very clever, was done masterfully, and was just so fun. I think lyrically this was universal enough not to be alienating to anyone, but also specific enough to have the emotional nuances that made the story of the album investing. I think Dua showed a lot of personality and vocal confidence and charisma. I will definitely be giving this another listen very soon, and I look forward to the accolades it will receive next year. So as always, if you have any requests for music I should react to or video topics you'd like to see me cover, let me know in the comments down below, and please subscribe to be here when I post new videos every week. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you are staying safe and healthy, and until next time, that's it.